This is Buddy Buchanan with Leader in Times, and today we'll be bringing you a Liberal City Commission candidate profile. There are 13 candidates running for City Commission, and with the primary coming soon, the Leader in Times would like to give the public a chance to hear each candidate's campaign, concentrations, and changes. Today's profile is that of Ron Warren. Here's his interview.
All right, well, we're here with candidate Ron Warren for Liberal City Commission. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tell us kind of what got you interested in running.
Well, you know, it to start with, it really kind of wasn't something I was thinking about doing. There's always thoughts when you've done it in the past about maybe wanting to do it again, but I had been approached in the grocery store, I've been approached on the job site and different places, and people asking me, I think we need some change. Would you be interested in running again, or do you know somebody that could maybe help, us make a positive move in the community? And I thought, well, I'll try to think of some names, and I'll consider it. It might be something that I would be interested in doing again, since I have experience doing it. And that's kind of all how it kind of came about. Is there was a need for some change, and we need people to do it, and of course we've got a big pool of people. So.
So what kind of, I guess, was the final catalyst that made you go ahead and decide to run?
Well, I think that was mostly it. Is kind of the same as that we do need that change, and there has to be somebody there that knows what's happened in the past and knows the things that we really need to work on. And I thought, well, I think that's something I have knowledge with. I think I could probably help with that. That's an area that I have some ideas on, and create better representation for the people, transparency, accountability, the issues I feel like we need to work on. So I felt like that's a place I could help. So I decided to go ahead and let's do it.
So what's some of your ideas and goals if you get into office?
Well, my goal is really kind of simple. To say it the easiest way is I want to give representation back to the people in our community. I feel like it's something in the last several years, especially, that has kind of disappeared. I was thinking the other day about the first election I was in 2001. I wrote myself up a speech, and was given it, and I said, I want to do what the JEDC wants. I want to listen to them and be open to their ideas, and I want to, listen to focus on the future and that board, and try to spend our 1 cent sales tax the way the community wants to spend it. And I thought, after I'd done it, for a few years, I kind of thought, well, that's kind of a generic type answer, but the more I've thought about it lately, that's what we've got to get back to, is we've got to have involvement from the public. We need to have a focus on the future board that we listen to, that when we sit down as a city commission and make a budget, we've got to look at their list. They've gone out, there's people that have gone out and done surveys and put in the hours, and I think some of that's starting to go away because nobody's listening. But we need to let those people know that, hey, we don't want one person, making the decisions for our community. We want the public to make those decisions. Mm-hmm. And of course, we know as city commissioners, we are your only voice as the public. So you need to be selective when you vote for commissioners and say, hey, do I want somebody that is okay with letting somebody else make decisions and they just want to okay them, or do I want somebody that's going to listen and say, hey, I want to inform the public on what we are trying to do, or what we want to do, or what we think we need to do, and then let's get the public's response. Mm-hmm. But especially on the 1 cent sales tax, I mean, that's what it was all designed for, is not to be used as a general fund type item. But this is the extra stuff. We're willing to pay an extra 1 cent sales tax so we can have these things. And all the people want is the ability to have a say on what those things are. So So my big focus is to be more board oriented. Let's have more public input, not less public input, and not head down the road that we've headed. Let's have a housing board. Let's have a building construction board. Let's listen to the JADC. Let's work with the county. Let's work with the school, and let's listen to these boards. We have smart people in our community, and when we start thinking that one person or a few people can make the decisions, and we don't have to listen to the people that know what they know about, I mean, their expertise, we should be listening to these people, and that's really my goal is to get the public back involved in city government.
Mm-hmm. So, how do you feel about the big candidate pool here?
Well, I think it's an indicator of how the public feels. There's several people in our community that believe there needs to be change. Anytime we've had large candidate pools, that's been the case, and I think that's the indicator right there. Is there's people out there, and I was talking about creating these boards. There's proof that there's people that want to be involved in the decision-making process for our community, and that the large pool just proves that.
Uh-huh. So, what makes you a good fit for this?
Well, I think experience is for this situation. I would love to see a combination maybe of some new people, but I really think for where we are at in city government right now, there's probably a need for experience, but people that are willing to make a change. I think that I bring that. Like I said, I started back in 2001, and I've been on the commission 6 years in that period of time up till now, and I served on a few other boards. I'm aware of what goes on in the community. I'm aware of what goes on in City Hall, and I think if the public really wants to have change, you're going to have a few people that know what that is going to consist of and what it's going to take to make that happen. And I think, like I say, as a candidate, I think I bring those qualities. Do I think there's smarter people out there? Absolutely, there's smarter people. I've told people I feel like I bring common sense to the board, and I've always wanted smart people, but same thing. That's why I want to have more people involved. There's a lot of smart people in our community that we can lean on for answers. And I think knowing that and where to go find those people is going to be helpful.
Mm-hmm. So, what excites you about the growth in North Liberal?
Well, I think it's everybody gets excited about the growth, but I think what excites me is the fact that I worried for years that it wasn't going to happen, and I think I think I said it in the last forum that I believe that the people that really need patted on the back for this is the community. It was said to me before, and I believe it, that a community that will invest in itself, then people will invest in it also. And I think that's happening. That's why this has happened. It's not because of anything city government has done, from what I've heard. It's that we have a growing community that wants to be better. The public is willing to pay to have new schools. The election for the school bond, proved it, and we're wanting to get better. And I think people outside our community are seeing that now, and you see hotels going up, you see new food places going up. We still need to work to try to get some industry type businesses in our community. We've lost a lot of oil and gas jobs, and we need some of those to fill the deal. But there's interest in our community now, and that does excite me.
Mm-hmm. So what are you looking forward to most about your campaign?
Well, I've never thought campaigns were very fun anyway. We get to do this stuff, but I think I'm looking forward to seeing how the public responds to what I think is going on in our community. And whatever it is they decide is, you know, they're the ones that indicate what they want, you know, if they want change or if they don't want change. And I think it's important for us as a candidate to explain to them or help the public to know what they need for change. And I think I said something in the first forum about it, that, you know, we can't elect incumbents if you want change. I mean, and they need to know that. Nothing against the incumbents, but they've had some time, and there's some things I think that could have been done a little bit differently. I think transparency, accountability, and representation are some of the big issues right now that need to be handled, and they're not being handled by the current commission. So to me, the thing that excites me about the campaign is not the campaign itself, but the results, getting to know what the public really wants, and hoping that we've informed the public enough about where we stand on the issues for them to be able to make a good decision.
Okay. So anything else you want to add before we let you go here?
Well, no, maybe touch on a little bit of what I've talked about and what I want. You know, I want more public involvement. I want us to have a commission that listens to what the public's saying, and then we direct the city in that direction. I don't feel like that's the process right now. I don't believe a lot of people in our community believe that's the process, and it's nothing against the people that are doing it, because I've said that before too. I don't believe anybody wants anything but good for our community, but we don't necessarily agree that we get there the same way. I believe we get there by listening to our people, giving them a voice, and giving them representation.
Be sure to check back here for the other 12 City Commission candidate profiles when they arrive. This is Buddy Buchanan with Leader in Times. God bless, and thanks for watching.